Okay, hi everyone. It is February the 24th, and I guess I have one of my rambling videos ready for you. I see my cat wants to be in the video today. Okay, fine. You can sit. I've been away for a couple of days. I needed to take a little, say hi to everybody, Leonard. Had to take a couple of days, a little break away. The world situation has had quite an effect on me. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about what was referring to as the shift. What was being referred to as something that's really different in our reality. And I did a video on it, and I got a lot of comments. A lot of you commented that you were agreeing with it. And then while I was on this little break, I happened to watch JonLevi's new video. I watch, of course, all of John's videos. I like John a lot. And I was really surprised when he mentioned me in that shift video, and then was sharing his opinions of what he feels has shifted and changed. And so I want to, and he made some good points. So I want to add some of JonLevi's points to this and see where we can go with this, see where we can figure out what's going on. So I don't want to talk, and I don't want to talk much anymore about what's going on directly in the world, the actual day-to-day. We can all look at things in the news, in our feeds, in our whatever. You don't need me talking about what's going on in the world. What we need to talk about is what to do about it. How do we respond? How do we live in the right way to respond to the world as it is? Hey, buddy. Yeah, scratches. Yeah, scratches. Like I say, we've been away for 2 days, and he missed us a lot. He's a very social cat now. So when we talk about this shift, so I don't know, I had like 300 or 400 comments. I just couldn't keep up with them all saying the same thing, and all pretty much saying that most of you say you felt it in January. Some earlier, some middle, some later, but somewhere in January you noticed that something was different. That seems to be a common denominator. Another common denominator is that things are heavy. You get very, very tired doing simple chores. Today I was shoveling my skating rink so I could go skating again today. Shouldn't have been exhausted. I got really tired just shoveling the rink. So it's a sense of heaviness. And this is what John kind of mentioned. He kind of said he noticed the heaviness as well. And he related it to qi. He had said, I think this would be a good time to do qigong. Because as he described it, there was so much qi in the air. Now, the question is, can we define the heaviness specifically as qi or not? It was an interesting comment. I'd never thought of that viewpoint. Because, of course, qi, you might call it same as prana in an Indian term, more like it's primal energy. It's right. It's the, I don't even want to call it necessarily earth energy, but that's one way of kind of, the sun's finally out, by the way. That's why I'm doing the video here, so you can actually sit in the sunlight and see me. So it's possible that there's a lot of energy in the air, that there's a ton of primal energy here. Because the other comment that he made, and some others made, is John said, when he's doing nothing, and Matt said the same thing, I think, when he's doing nothing, when he's just sitting peacefully or really calm or sitting with the cats or whatever, he's fine. There's no energy drain. So it seems like activity of any kind, using your energy to do anything in the world, I kind of describe it as moving through molasses. Like it's this thick soup, and just to move and take steps and walk around the corner is tiring. I was up in Trondheim for a couple of days on this little vacation, and again I got really, really tired just walking around the town. Okay, so the first day it was really snowy and windy, but the second day I shouldn't have got really tired just walking around, but we were really tired just walking around. And so it's an indication of the heaviness. Okay, so we've got the possibility, what could the heaviness be from, right? We can all agree we've got this heaviness, and it's tiring to do things, and it's taking longer to do things. It's because of the heaviness, it's like, or we're getting a bit sleepy, or we're taking more breaks, or we're just not operating at the same speed we used to. So everything's also taking longer to do. Okay, so more chi in the air. So what would that mean? Why would there be more chi? Why would there be more primal energy in the atmosphere? I don't know. I'm not saying there isn't, but that's an interesting answer. The weather's not good enough. After I heard John say that, if this was like springtime, I would have gone for a couple of days right into the forest and just been right with some really nice trees, done the Qigong as a test and see if, like, is there a difference in the Qigong? Maybe there's a really good, for those of you doing Qigong and yoga, and you're in an area that's not like winter, they're not the North Pole, and you can go outside. Go outside and do your Qigong or do your yoga, and let me know if there's a different energy, if it's easier to do. Make sure it's outside. Don't do it inside. It has to be outside. Do it outside and see if you feel that there is a strengthening of the practice. If the practice or is the practice the same? You're doing stuff. You're doing your Qigong moves, and it's harder to move through the molasses. Maybe the only Qigong that's valuable now is standing still Qigong, the tree Qigong, where you're literally just standing as a tree outside, so there's no movement whatsoever. You don't have to actually move through the Qi, you're literally just in the Qi. I'm just putting those out as a test to try to figure out where we are. Okay, another possibility to the shift in the heaviness could be a descending darkness, a descending, I don't know if we'll call it evil, but let's call it a really low frequency being pushed down on everything. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I have felt a push. I have felt it's not just that it's heavy, it's like a pushing energy. It's like pushing me down as opposed to allowing me to rise. It's pushing me down. And so I'm wondering if also, because the world is spinning again. Right now we've got all sorts of new things spinning bizarrely in the world, different places. We're close to quite a large war potentially. So is it coming from the heaviness? Or is the heaviness a response to what's going on out there? Is the heaviness like this reality responding in advance to what's being put out there, to the I don't want to call it the thought processes, but the wheels that are in motion, the plans that are in motion, and this reality is responding back with a heaviness, with a lower frequency. Now, maybe we have had a lower frequency, and if that's the case, right? Matt and I had this discussion over a year ago, this idea that we took a frequency drop, that literally the frequency of this realm is maybe the frequency's dropped again in January. We've had another drop. And the problem will be, as one of my teachers a long time ago had described about, there are certain, like he talked about on the Giza Plateau, as a warning before I went to Egypt, that there are certain frequency levels in the Giza Plateau that are so high, that are so literally at a vibrational rate that is actually almost not on this realm. It's literally in another realm. And if you can't get your vibrational frequency to that level and you go into that corridor, you go into that chamber, you'll just burn up, because the frequency, it'll be like trying to put one electrical socket plug into a wrong socket, and you'll literally just fry yourself. So we've got the opposite happening, that if we keep our frequency level at a certain rate, if we don't drop with the frequencies as they keep dropping, eventually we're going to have such a divide between where we are. Not that we're raising our frequency, we're just keeping it the way it's always been. The divide will still be so great that the question will be, would we even be able to stay here? It might just be too painful to stay here any longer. That literally we would, I don't say burn up, but literally we might just be gone because we can't handle it. Or it's possible we just, have human spontaneous combustion and we just die, and that's it, because we can't handle the lower frequency. That if you don't, same thing, if the frequency is going up and up and up and you don't follow the frequency level, then it's going to burn you. And I would assume the opposite. If the frequency gets lower and lower and lower, and you're not going with it, something's going to have to happen because you can't stick around. So that's another possibility that we're seeing. If we're seeing frequency drops, then it's going to be much, much harder for anyone who doesn't drop with it. Next thing on the challenge could be, okay, we have these people talking about that there's a raising, that the frequencies are actually rising now. I'm not personally experiencing that. I know that's what a lot of the new agey / spiritual community have been pushing and hoping for a long time, that this is a part of their faith, right? This new dimensional shift, right? So I don't want to throw it out, don't want to say no, just because I don't necessarily notice that, but we have to put it on the table that, but again, we shouldn't necessarily be so heavy in a rising frequency. You can say, well, you're not rising with it. You're still caught in lower thoughts and fears. And if you let go of your fear and you let go of your negative emotions, that you'll join the frequency and you will be, And that's completely possible. That could be maybe that is what we're experiencing, and all the rest of us who are still running, like, for example, the YouTube channels, and who are trying to deal with stuff. You can say, well, we're still caught in the world. We're still dealing with the craziness of reality. And if we just dump the craziness completely, we'll hit the new frequency and we'll vibrate on a completely different scale. Yeah, maybe that's the answer too. But short term, the question will be, what time I got? The question will be, okay, we're all in agreement. There's been a shift. The shift is still going on. The world is getting crazier as the shift happens. It's getting harder and harder to do things. It's more and more tiring to do things except to do nothing. So maybe a big part of our day should be following the small poem of Ryokan. And Ryokan was a Zen master for some time now. I can look it up, but I'm going to try to remember it. It's something like, the poem goes, "Too lazy to be ambitious. I sit here with my bags full of rice." Give me a moment. I'm going to go get it because I want to read it properly to you. Otherwise, what I'm going to say doesn't make any sense. Okay. Put my microphone back on. The poem, as it reads, is... I gotta find it. Let's see. You'll be curious to see how long... Oh, of course, I took the wrong book. Let's try it again. Now it should be a bit easier. I know this is probably a bit annoying as I get up and down going to get books, but the quote is so important for what we're talking about and what everyone's talking about, what the shift is and what the shift is like. So that's why I really want to read the poem. Okay? "Too lazy to be ambitious. I let the world take care of itself. 10 days worth of rice in my bag, a bundle of twigs by the fireplace. Why chatter about delusion and enlightenment? Listening to the night rain on my roof, I sit comfortably with both legs stretched out." I'm going to read it again because it's that important. "Too lazy to be ambitious. I let the world take care of itself. 10 days worth of rice in my bag, a bundle of twigs by the fireplace. Why chatter about delusion and enlightenment? Listening to the night rain on my roof, I sit comfortably with both legs stretched out." Now, this poem fits in so well to what everybody has kind of been saying, and what John replied again, which the less you do, the easier it is. The more you try to do, the more tired you get. it links in a bit to what Bart said in the last conversation we had. I'll be having another one with him, by the way, in March. But what Bart had to say, which was, we're having to build an ark. We have to live differently. We can't, in a sense, follow the old, the sort of the normal spiritual ways of this place to move to higher understandings, to more realizations. We have to do things differently that fit our current, the way the current realm is. And what's really interesting here, he says he's too lazy to be ambitious. So he's removing the ambition. He's removing the need to achieve anything. And of course, that will be seen as lazy. But it's not just lazy; he's too lazy. He's not even have the energy to be ambitious. Never mind to choose not to be. I let the world take care of itself. That's a big one. That's a big one. To be able to step back, to see that this reality is in many ways beyond our control. We can't control this reality because we don't understand it. We like to think, this particular mind or collective of minds, we can control anything. We can make anything happen here that we want to. This is the narcissistic view we have, as opposed to, who knows what we can really control here or not. Why should we be putting all of our energy into trying to force the machinery of this realm to what we want when that's not what the machinery of the realm wants? So he's saying, I let the world take care of itself. He's not going to fight the world. He's going to focus on his own inner mental state. 10 days worth of rice in my bags and a bundle of twigs by the fireplace. So he has some things stored up. He doesn't have to focus about food for 10 days, but he doesn't have 11 days of food. He doesn't have 6 months of food. He doesn't have a year of food. He hasn't prepped himself to be hiding in his house for 2 years. 10 days. 10 days worth of rice in my bag. Enough to just be comfortable for a while and see what happens. And then after 4 or 5 or 6 days, well, you may have to go get some more rice. Bundle of twigs by the fireplace. Why chatter about delusion and enlightenment? So now he's not wasting energy even discussing the very path which he follows. He's just living. Listening to the night rain on my roof, I sit comfortably with both legs stretched out. Now, I don't want to take that as some sort of Advaita idea where you shouldn't be doing anything and you should just sit still and drink your tea and laugh everything, haha, because that's not, that's never going to take you anywhere, and it's certainly not going to take you where we are in this realm, where we have to be very active. But what it's reminding you is a huge part of spiritual practice must now, especially in this particular strange shifting energy, requires this as part of our day, where we need to have time where we're too lazy to be ambitious. We're not even thinking about anything. We're not conversing about anything. We're not reading anything. We're not checking at anything. We're not fixing anything. We're literally just sitting comfortably. Just seeing the insanity, but not allowing it to affect us, not trying to fix it, not just, okay. The realm is insane. The realm is shifted. The energy is different. And I'm just going to be aware of it and be as unaffected by it for a while as possible. Almost no one's going to live like that for 24 hours, nor should you. But can you put an hour per day into this? So I think the end point of this little rambling talk today, for me, is that was the most important piece that I got out of this information, was recognizing that when we do things now, when we are going to be active in the world in any activity, it's going to take longer, it's going to take more of our energy, more of our focus, more of everything, so we need to do less. We need to choose very carefully what must we do as opposed to what should I do. There's lots of shoulds that don't really need to be done. Doesn't matter. At this point, the shoulds can go. Only what must be done. What are the things that must be done? We do those. If there's some energy after that for things we really would like to do, not should, would like to do. This is an activity, this is something I'd really like to go skating now. Okay, then go. Not I should go for a run, I should do this, I should paint the fence. No. Because we're seeing how much energy, at least right now after this shift, we don't know how long the shift will last, but right now the shift is telling you that everything you do is taking a tremendous amount of energy. So This is another example. Use our energy wisely. And then the Ryokan reminder and the reminder of John and Matt and others. And we have to take a lot of time where we do nothing. Literally nothing. Just be still. Not even reading something for pleasure, not watching television. I don't even know if maybe listening to some, he's listening to the night rain, so maybe if you have some nice relaxing classical music or jazz or something, you could probably have that on the background as a stimulation for the ears and whatnot. But I don't think you want to be putting in too much effort into the not doing part of the day, where there's really these places where you're still and just comfortable, even in the craziness. And that might be our way to stay focused, to, again, not immerse ourselves, to not ignore the world, keep track of what's going on, keep our prayers going, that things on a level above us can be heard and can be impacted here. I don't want to say stop praying either, but we don't want to be, and of course if things are directly affecting you personally, you have to act on them. But I think we should try to, for us, I don't mean the world here, I don't mean the 8 billion people on the planet, and so I don't want to get into a lot of that right now, but for like the 3,000 or 4,000 people who watch this video, the message is only for you, right? Only for us, our little group, you might say. That is, we kind of have to do that. We have to let the world take care of itself. The world is going to do what the world's going to do. We can pray our best. We know what we'd like to have happen. We know what the end result we'd like to be. But it's no good if we wear ourselves out completely. So even if the next shift comes that's so positive, and we can't get out of bed for 6 months to have any part of it, we have to be understanding how this time since January is affecting our energy and affecting our ability to think and work and focus and be, and really use the energy for what must be done and what we really want to do. Everything else can wait, and we need to take break time. I've got my new book sort of semi-ready to go, but I'm realizing that until I know how to handle dealing with the shift of the energies and how the world is moving, I need to wait like a few more weeks or even a month or two before I feel ready to begin. Because if I'm not in the right energetic state, you might say, if I'm not going to be in the right energy for it, there's no point in starting, because I won't like what I write. I'm not someone there's certain people they write every day, like Ernest Hemingway, it doesn't matter. He gets up at 7 and he writes for 4 hours, no matter what, he writes. I'm not like that. I have to feel something inside is ready to come out, and I have to feel that the environment is right. It has the right, whether I need creativity or I need silence or I need action or I need excitement or I need certain research in front of me, whatever it is that's the environment, whatever environment I need, I have that. And once those two can go together, the writing comes very easily. Until that time, I have to wait. So now I'm kind of waiting to understand our current situation and our current energetic time, to know combination of what wants to come out and the environment will be correct. I guess that's all I wanted to say. I guess hopefully there's something useful for all of us to really think about. I hope my mic has been picking up all this. It's kind of been underneath my lapel here. That hopefully this gives us something to, because that's what it's really all about. It's partially understanding where we are and what's going on, understanding the changes we're dealing with, but it's even more important for us to know, so what does that mean for me personally? What does that mean for how I need to live, respond? What kind of inner work do I need to do? What kind of focus do I need to have? What kind of practice do I need to put in the course of my day? What what things do I need to spend energy on? What things do I not spend energy on? So I'm hoping this little conversation will help everybody to take some of that more into account and basing it on the changing shift of energy. How can we respond in new ways that matches the energy that we're in? I look forward to hearing your comments and hearing what you have to say. I hope everybody is doing okay as the shift continues, and in places where the world is still quite crazy, that you've got a safe place to be. You've got 10 days worth of rice in your bag. You've got your bundle of twigs by the fireplace, so that you can have moments where you can turn off the mind and be still, and we'll see what comes from all of that. See you in a few days. Cheers.